Our next guest is Charlamagne the God, author, radio, and TV personality. He's the outspoken co-host of The Breakfast Club, a national radio show, leader of iHeart's Black Effect podcast network, and just inked a deal with Audible. Welcome, Char.
Yo, Gary V, what's up, my brother?
What's up, fam? Listen, there are very few people that I feel innovate and do shit as much as I do. Your last 9 months, I feel like every time I open my phone, you're announcing some new biz dev, some new production, some new initiative. You know, your capacity to create opportunities in the last year have been remarkable. You know, I've been quietly sending you messages because I'm impressed, because it's rare to see. I live it. I mean, it feels like you have a new thing every 60 days. Kudos on that. And that leads me to the question, is that you reacting to where you see the consumer attention is these days? Forget about what you fill it with, whether it's selfish, selfless. You have a lot of thoughts going through your mind, a lot of agendas, a lot of things you want to see both for yourself and the world. But before we even get into those things, are you in a place, like, you're watching you move right now as a personal brand? I feel like you're reacting to the understanding of the different shifts of where people consume. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, you know what's so interesting about that, Gary? Like a lot of the things that people are seeing me announce now, like those seeds were planted 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. It's just that I guess now with God's divine timing, you know, these things are happening now. So it seems like it's a reaction, but I saw this 2 years ago. I saw where the audio business was going. I saw where the podcast network business was going. And I always was thinking, okay, once we establish a podcast network, which I was already doing with Loudspeaker because I was a part owner of Loudspeaker, but I wanted to do my own entity. But once we did that, I was thinking to myself, okay, what's the next level of audio? The next level of audio to me was scripted audio. Because people are riding in their cars, and the same way they listen to us have conversations, man, why can't we do sitcoms? Why can't we do documentaries? Why can't we do films? And then I started seeing, like, you know,
and Charlamagne, you know what's crazy about that?
Mm-hmm.
Technology brings us to the past. Some of the shows that were the biggest hits on TV started as radio shows. People sat around the radio and listened.
Absolutely. War of the Worlds by Orson Welles. I always said that. I'm like, yo, and I said that with social media. I said it's only a matter of time before some Orson Welles War of the World stuff happens because of social media. And I was like, yo, why don't I just create the next Orson Welles War of the Worlds type stuff?
And by the way, Gimlet showed it, right? You know, if you think about podcasts 2 years ago, there were people, whether it was a murder this or murder that, like, people started listening to the soap operas and the interviews and the things of that nature. CTG, explain to me your own behavior as a human. Have you adopted TikTok during this time because attention went there? Are you using Instagram more? Do you watch more lives? Do you listen to more podcasts? Is it more YouTube? Did you add to Netflix and now you have Disney Plus and HBO Max? Like, you, the human, your consumption, your attention, what has gotten more of your attention over the last 9 months?
I mean, definitely content has gotten more of my attention, but I can't react to what everybody is doing. Like, I'm not. And I see the hype about TikTok, but I'm not a TikTok person, so I don't even go on TikTok. I might see something if somebody sends it to me.
Can I ask you a real question? Because it's important, because I know how thoughtful you are, and you know we've jammed on this for years. Do you think there's any part of you that doesn't go on TikTok as like the move to just not go on TikTok for the sake of not going on TikTok? Do you think there's any percentage of your personality that does that? Or do you actually just not think the attention is worthwhile there?
Yeah, it's just not, it's not worth my attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, we only have but so much bandwidth for everything. You know, do you create for it though, knowing that, I mean, to me, there are less than 500 people on earth that I would think of more that can get more value out of TikTok than you, the human, given the cross section of culture and music. It's one thing for you to be in feed for an hour watching stuff. Are you creating for it? And if you're not, why? I'm creating for it unintentionally because people send me stuff all the time with them dubbing my voice or, you know, dubbing an interview from the Breakfast Club. So whether I'm doing it intentionally or not, I'm creating content for it. But me personally, I don't want to be on it.
Why? Because I think when I look at what you're doing on Instagram and I think through what you could be doing on TikTok right now, I think the things you're passionate about, whether it's racism in America, whether it's awareness to the stuff you're doing, whether it's just silly jokes, whether it's food, whatever the hell you care about, your opportunity, given the attention graph on TikTok, is greater on TikTok than on Instagram, though you're spending your time on Instagram.
Maybe I need to talk to you about it. I just don't see the equity in it for me now, to be honest with
well,
you.
Let me say, I'm not going to take more time here. I'll text you after this. The equity is there's more fucking attention on it than there is on Instagram.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Talk to me real quick, just for my own fun, the attention, because I know you also play in this world and you'll be the only one that can really deliver during this seminar on that. Where's the attention of the music lover today? Whether platform, whether artist, CTG's hot take on the attention of the music lover right now, platform or person or anything I'm not thinking of.
I would say it's the streaming services, but I think it's YouTube. You know, when you look at like NBA YoungBoy and Little Baby and all of those guys like that, like their YouTube numbers are crazy. And I think
crazy.
These kids, they like the visual that goes along with the music. I'm not saying that they're not streaming music, because of course they are, but I think when you can go on YouTube and actually see a very creative video by the baby, or see what, you know, Little Baby or NBA YoungBoy is wearing, or who they're hanging around, what car they're driving, that just makes the experience even bigger. That's why I like when I go on Tidal, I love the fact that Tidal has, you know, the video component to it, you know? And that's usually what I do. Like I still watch videos like I did back in the day, you know, only because I know that I can go check them out on YouTube or check them out on Tidal. It was a period of my life where I wasn't watching no music videos because it didn't seem like there was a place to consume them. But now,
they basically went away, and now we're kind of back to the heyday of MTV.
Because people are taking their visuals serious. Like I gotta give the baby a lot of credit for that. You know what I mean? Like the baby really started taking his visuals seriously, and I think a lot of people started following suit.
What about in podcast land? You know, what is the attention graph there, whether platform wise or show wise? Anything catching your attention there?
Yeah, man, it's so much. You know, I mean, shameless plug. Like I have a lot of podcasts on my network, The Black Effect, from a lot of talent that, you know, I partnered with, who's really amazing. Like somebody like Ebony K. Williams, she has a podcast called Holding Court, where she's just breaking down legal cases. And I think that's just something that's very, very
education.
It's education.
It's how a lot of us learn that weren't great at school. We're learning on the internet, and something like that show, which I'm aware, somebody literally hit me up about it. Like I've literally learning law through this.
Yeah. And that's what she's there for. Somebody like Teslin Figueroa, you know, she's a political pundit, but she just breaks down politics from a real street level, like you know, she's from LA, so she hung out with a lot of the gang members and things like that. So she really understands what's happening on the concrete, but she also understands what's happening in, you know, on Capitol Hill. And so it's just like those podcasts I'm learning so much from. And even though they're on the Black Effect Podcast Network, the reason I wanted to partner with talent like that is because they have those kind of voices. And
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You wanted to learn from them. You're scratching your own itch. Thus, you're trying to get them on your platform.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, it's like people like, you know, Joe Rogan. I still love Joe Rogan. You know, I think, you know, you get so much out of him. You know, I mean, I'm a podcast junkie. Like, I listen to so much podcast a week, man. It's ridiculous.
When do you listen to podcasts? Working out, traveling, like you sit like in the middle of the day, 4 to 5 p.m. Like, is it in the background at all times? How do you actually consume it?
Both, because, you know, I'm commuting. So, you know, on the way to work, it's a 40-minute commute in the morning. So I'm listening to a podcast. On the way back, it could be up to an hour and a half, just trying to get out of New York. You know, when I'm working out, that's another, you know, hour and a half that I'm spending, you know, just vibing. So like I'm literally listening to podcasts all the time. Like every day I'm listening to a new podcast.
Charlamagne, I wish you nothing but health. I'll hit you up about TikTok, and I'll see you soon.
Gary B, thank you, brother.
You got it, bro. Stay well.